Everyone's always been beautiful, right? Wrong. I'm JJTP A lawyer, not your lawyer, here to tell you about a time when if you were unattractive, you wouldn't want to go outside because
you could go to jail.
Imagine this scene.
Right to jail, right away.
That was the case here in America not too long ago. Well, not that dramatic, but let me explain. Before social media and filters, there was something called ugly laws. You can tell someone they were ugly to their face without being canceled. The term ugly laws was coined in the 1970s to refer to unsightly beggar ordinances. These ordinances were passed in the late 19th century and early 20th century to remove unsightly people from the streets. It was suggested that these people brought shame on society and made good Christian people feel bad. The easiest way to solve these people's problems is to remove them from society, right? Out of sight, out of mind. These laws have their root in 18th century England, when people were forced to hide their disabilities in public for fear of being punished. The first law of this type in the United States was passed in 1867 in San Francisco. The first person charged was a Civil War veteran, Martin Oaks. Generally, in San Francisco, these laws were only enforced against Asian Americans. Yes, racism. You would think being disabled, the hills in San Francisco were punishment enough, and this would be a bridge too far. Other cities followed suit regulating disabled people being outside. Portland, Oregon, and Chicago in 1881, and New Orleans in 1883. But Chicago's law was a little bit different. Chicago's 1881 ordinance, created by Alderman James Peavy, reads like this.
Any person who is diseased, maimed, mutilated, or in any way deformed, so as to be an unsightly or disgusting object, or an improper person to be allowed in or on the streets, highways, thoroughfares, or public places in the city, shall not therein or thereon expose himself or herself to public view, under the penalty of a fine of $1 for each offense.
For reference, $1 in 1881 would be worth about $27.82 today in 2022. At the time, Peavy stated the purpose of the ordinance was to remove all street obstructions.
That was cold-blooded!
This is the inception of the real ugly laws. Other cities followed suit, such as Lincoln, Nebraska, and Denver in 1889, and Omaha shortly thereafter. The Panic of 1893 led to the further spread of these laws, as far as the Philippines. Whole states such as Pennsylvania passed similar laws, but Pennsylvania added something extra: cognitive disabilities. That's right, not only if you were unattractive, but if you weren't smart, you couldn't go outside either. Everyone could get to smoke in Pennsylvania. New York tried to pass a similar law, but it failed. Luckily for some, these laws have been repealed in the United States. The last recorded arrest for someone being ugly was in Omaha. The last law to be repealed was in 1974 in Chicago, which is why this casserole is allowed to be seen in public. Guilty of impersonating a pizza.
I'm from New York!
Today we have protection for such discrimination, such as Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was passed in 1990. Those laws make sure that there will no longer be any more ugly laws. Now we can say to everyone, "You're beautiful." That's it for now. Like and subscribe for more legal facts and stories. Chicago, come at me, bro, because this is a hate crime. Note from the lawyers: this video is based on the laws at the time of taping this video. It does not constitute legal advice. You should always consult with your own attorney before taking any action, with the exception of liking and subbing so you can hear more legal facts like